Hello everyone, I'm here again on Project Scan, Project Stop Child Abuse Now. I want to appreciate everyone that has been following up and those that have been sharing the videos so that more people can be reached with the message. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. God bless you. Child abuse is being practiced in most homes ignorantly, and it's having a serious effect on the children. I want to talk about child abuse a lot in the pandemic. The present situation of the world is devastating. Many are sick, many are down, many are hungry, and some of these hungry ones are very hungry. They are capable of taking any wrong step without looking back or feeling remorse for it. They want to come out of the situation by all means, even if it will eventually take their lives. And so the devil is using them to destroy destinies. Parents, this is a time for us to keep watch on our children and lay aside child neglect. Child neglect, yes. Child neglect is a type of child abuse. It is a failure of a parent or guardian to provide needed food, clothing, shelter, medical or, supervision to the degree that the child's health, safety, and well-being are threatened with harm. Child neglect accounts for over three-quarter of confirmed cases of sexual abuse, serious physical or serious harm, and even death of little children. If there is no child neglect, some other types of child abuse will not surface, and death will be far from these little children. Child neglect is the reason why a child will be playing hide and seek game with his mate and die in the process. I read of a little child that entered into a neighbor's freezer, all in the name of hide and seek, and didn't come out alive because there was no adult around to watch over them while they were playing. They were left on their own. So many children have died inside the wardrobe during this game. They've died, so many of them, and some got electrocuted and died because they hid themselves in wrong places and because neglect was in place. Child neglect is when you take a little child to boarding school because you are too busy. You are too busy to create time for her. I'm always on the move. I don't want my children to suffer, so they are better kept in the boarding house. Oh. Do you know what they go through in that boarding house? Do you know what they go through? And they want them never to tell when they get home. You don't know. You don't know because you are not even there to see them in pains. I knew of a little child that was in a boarding school. A child I knew very, very well. She was just 11 years old. She did something wrong in the hostel, and the hostel mistress locked her. She locked her in the bedroom over the night. She cried and cried, banged the door several times, begging this mistress to open the door for her. She didn't listen to her cry. And in the morning, the door was opened and she was found dead. She suffocated and died in that bedroom. That is why you don't punish a child by locking him in the bedroom. It is the last place you should think of. Don't even try it. So many children have been sexually abused and some are no more, all in the name of going for holidays. You took your daughter, to your sister's place during the holiday to go and play with her cousins. While she was there, she was sexually abused and she was warned to keep it secret. So she did. Another holiday came. You told her you were taking her there again. She started crying and begging you that she doesn't want to go. Then you told her you must go. You must go. I'll be very busy this period. And it's because of you I'm working very hard. You are not working hard because of her. You are not. You are working hard to meet up with a particular standard in the society that you set for yourself. If it's really because of her, you will sit her down and find out why she doesn't want to go. You won't just dash her out freely to a predator. Child neglect is when that child in your care needs medical treatment, like dental care, and you close your eyes to it. You discover he's having 2 rows of teeth called shark teeth, and you are doing nothing about it. It is neglect. He's going to grow up with those teeth and esteem himself so low because his mate will give him a name around it. They'll give him a name around that situation. By the time they start calling him that name, he start looking down on himself. He sees himself as ugly and not privileged like them. This low self-esteem will affect him psychologically. It will hinder his social development and also show on him physically because he will lose his happiness. People with low self-esteem don't expect much from life. They don't. Just give me little and I'm okay. They don't fulfill the original plan of God for their lives because they see life as not being fair to them. Poverty should not be a reason for that little boy to walk alone on the road. It is not an excuse for engaging in child neglect. So many children have been knocked down. So many have been knocked down by vehicles while walking. Some have been raped and some have been kidnapped while they were walking. There is no justification whatsoever for child neglect. Imagine you waited 10 years before giving birth to that child. Will you still want her? Will you still want to send her to hostel so that he can have time to run around? Will you still want to take him for holiday out of your sight? That child belongs to God. It's God's property. It's an asset kept in your care. You cannot afford to mismanage him. If you continue to engage in child neglect, it's going to affect him a lot. And that might hinder him from achieving the purpose of God for his life. And you know what? Jesus will not take it lightly with you. He said in Matthew chapter 18, verse 6, he said, if anyone causes one of these little ones who believe in and acknowledge and cleave to me to stumble and sin, that is, who entices him or hinders him in right conduct or thought, it will be better, more expedient and profitable or advantageous for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be sunk in the depth of the sea. Child abuse of yesterday is the reason for today's chaos. Is the reason for the bad leaders we have everywhere. Is the reason why the devil sees people to drag to hell every day. That reckless and drunk driver went through child abuse. The gunmen here and there, that rapist, that ritualist, that prostitute, and those bad leaders that you and I are praying to God to remove from their seats, they were all victims of child abuse. Some aspects of their development were neglected. Their thoughts, their conduct were not tailored in the way of God. And so they became prayer points. They became who they are today. There is a saying that it is easier to build a strong child than to repair a broken adult. So if you want a better society, a glorious church, and a developed nation, we must build these children. And we must build them complete. That is, build them mentally, physically, spiritually, and socially. We must create time for them in this pandemic period. So in this period, don't allow child neglect for any reason. The devil is using the situation to raise predators here and there, killers of destiny. They enter into people's house and rape little children. And don't think they are doing it for the fun of it. They are not. They are sapping grace from these children. They are attacking their destinies. Kidnappers are on the rise, So don't take any chance. If you must leave them at home, make sure there is a trusted adult that can help you check on them regularly. It is very important. You want your child to go for holiday, it's very good. It's a good thing. But make sure she's with a caring and responsible adult. Someone that will go any length to ensure her safety. Not just any friend. Not just any friend or relative. And if you feel it's not necessary she goes for the holiday, let her stay at home and get her busy. Get her busy with something creative. Children normally appreciate craft work, so introduce her to any one of her choice. If you have to download, the tutorials of how to go about it for her, please go ahead and do that. And when school resumes, please, if you must take your child to hostel, make sure God is in support, because so many children go through tough times in the hostel. So please, so that you are not found guilty of child neglect. The Message Bible says in Matthew chapter 18 verse 6 that if you give them a hard time, bullying or taking advantage of their simple trust, you will soon wish you hadn't. He says you will be better off dropped in the middle of the lake with a millstone around your neck. So please let God lead you. And for parents who can't afford to do without hawking their businesses, this is my advice for you. Don't allow your child hawk alone on the street. Don't. You can do it alongside with him. The rate at which little children hawk on the street this day is very disheartening. I know it's not these children's fault, neither is the parents' fault. One of the reasons is the impact of child abuse on the parents. When they were young, they were abused. And another thing is the present situation of the world. So in order to meet up with their daily needs, they go extra miles to put things on to put things together. So please walk alongside with those children so that they don't fall into the hands of predators. Child neglect is one of the devices of child abuse. Its end result is terrible. It does not allow a child have a glorious destiny. So don't be ignorant of it. Be vigilant, be prayerful, and your child will live, and you will also live to eat the fruit of your labor. I'll come your way again by the grace of God. Bye.